bondo vairwira kuti tivedza kasununguka asi ikezvi tinotambura zvikuru tichitsungaira tiri kunyika dzevamwe hedu nyika yave mumaoko embavha vanongodya vega pamwe nehemhuri dzavo momo yezimbabwe ichishaya chekubata mumoyo mangu muzere shungu zhinji kwazvo moyo wangu
moyo yedu inorwadza chokwadi tichiona zvakadai senge tiri pazuva ranhasi, zuva ratiri kurangarira chiitiko chomusi wa1 August 2018 muZimbabwe. We welcome you, a warm welcome to all our listeners and our viewers on Change Radio. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. And today we have a special edition, a special program where we'll be talking about the August 1, 2018 events that happened soon after the 2018 elections. And we are joined today in the studio by Honorable Comrade Gondo, who will be here to talk to us, our senior leader within the CCC. He'll be here to talk to us more and dwell more on the happenings and the events of the August 1, 2018. We will be joined later by Mambo Shoshe, as well as Cooksman, and we'll be discussing and just shedding light and paying tribute indeed to all those victims, those 6 who succumbed, who perished at the hands of ZANU-PF and the military on August 1, 2018. My name is Sophia Tekwani and I welcome you all. Comrade Bondo, would you like to welcome the viewers and the listeners?
It's not a great vateereri vese nevarira zvakawanda zvakaitika munyika yedu zvinoita kuti tisangane nhasi tichiisa pfungwa pamwe chete.
Absolutely, maita henyu avo vanga vari Comrade Happymo, Comrade Bondo, Honorable Happymo Chitsiva, who will be with us today talking about the August 1, 2018 happenings. Mukoma Cooksman, mungada here kukwazisa vateereri nevatariri?
Ya, ndiri kuda kuti ndikwazise vana vese veZimbabwe, vana baba, vana mama, vakomana nevasikana, vana sekuru nana mbuya, kwese kwamungadai muri kumativi mana epasi rose, ndichingoramba ndichikusimbisai kuti aiwa ngatirambe takatsunga ramangwana rakajeka. Ndinotenda.
Tinotenda mukoma Cooksman. Tisati tapinda mumadiscussions akati pane kavidhio katinoda kuti ngoratidza vateereri nevatariri, a brief video yemusi wa1 August 2018 tisati tapinda munyaya yedu yanhasi. I don't know kuti iri ready here video yacho.
I've seen the soldiers and the trucks of the soldiers, they are holding guns.
It wasn't supposed to be like this.
People are being beaten by the soldiers. Some of our guys have been killed.
This was supposed to be the moment that proved that Zimbabwe was moving on from its oppressive past. Instead, city streets look like this, with soldiers opening fire on protesters and leaving at least 3 people dead only days after an election.
It's not safe. It's not safe. The soldiers, they are coming that side.
Okay.
Okay.
We should go? Let's go.
So what?
Right, this is very sad and very worrying indeed. Honorable Comrade Bondo, can I ask you to just take it away? Just maybe if I can ask you where you were when this happened on the 1st of August and what exactly you were doing. What do you remember from this day?
Thank you, Sophie. On this day when all this happened, I was in town. Actually, in the morning, ndakauya pa Harvest House. Sangana nevanhu sekuti this was the day that we were waiting for my election results edu kuti aitwe announce, and people were gathering in town in anticipation yekuti tichange tichinzwa ma-results edu, but zvaitora time, so vanhu vakanga vakuita vachinotsanga. So in the morning ndakasvika ndikasangana nevanhu, tikabva ipapo ndikaenda kwandakaenda around town. Then ndo pandakazonodzoka mutown kwava a bit late. Ndichisvika mutown muya takasvika tichizonzwa nyaya yekuti vanhu vakanga vatanga kuita kunge paitika ruzha, vanhu vatsamwa vakuti vakuda ma-results kuti abude, vachiinda kwakuine headquarters eZANU-PF. Pakuitwa nyaya dzemapicture amunanga gwakanga akubvarugwa nevanhu. So at that time pandakawana koya vechiti dai ndakwanisa kuti ndiadhirese vanhu varega kuita zvakanga zvichiitika. Tasangana nevamwe, we tried kuti titi tinde tinobatsira kuti tione kuti tingadzorese vanhu vakanga vatsama pakuita ma-violent incidents. Nekunhingiwo brigade repatuwiro ndo rakatumira mota dzakawanda dzichitopinda mota dzehondo kutoita kuratidza kuti hondo yatanga pasina time, vanhu vakanga vakutopfurwa. So at first takangoti kuda instant yangoitika izvezvi zvichitoona kuti kwapfurwa vamwe mai apo, papfurwa mumwe mukomana uko. Tikatanga tiita sei tingabatsira vanhu kuti vawana pfurwa. So takutrya tichida kuona kuti vanhu vanobatsirwa sei, tikaona kuti tauni yatosiliwa, hapana zvatichatokwanisa kuita. Harvest House yatokombwa touya marayoti, masoja vese vanhu vatotora vaita take over the town. Takazongowata rava parara mhanya mudhorobha.
I think Comrade Mondo, network is a little bit hazy. Pane pamamuri, but yes, you know it's jumping. Maybe can you take it from the pamam chitaura mchiti pamakapinda mtown mukaona vanhu vanga vakuvara. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, we seem to have lost Comrade Bondo there, but he was just giving a description or a detailed account of what happened on the day in question on the 1st of August 2018. Those unfortunate, that massacre happened from military that had been sent by the regime that is headed by Emerson Mnangagwa. And he was saying that he had actually been called to address, there was, as we all know, there had been the delay in the announcement of the election results, and people were becoming restless, and understandably so. And so he had been called, he said he had been called to actually come try and quell the situation, to calm down the people that were now demanding the release of those election results. And he said as he was going into town, there was heavy military presence, and then there were the shootings. The shooting started, and there was a stampede, and people were hurt. And he was just detailing how he was actually, getting down into the thick of things, trying to assist those people who had been injured, and trying to ascertain what had happened with those who had been shot. We'll keep trying to get back to him, because I believe, oh, good, I think we have him back. Comrade Bondo, I was just telling the listeners and the viewers that you were trying now to help those people who had been hurt. Can you continue from where you left on? I think everyone is eager to know what was happening from a first-hand experience from yourself. Can you hear me, Comrade Bondo? I think you're on mute. If you can hear me, Honorable, I think you're on mute. Okay, while we're waiting for him, can we show, there was the other video which was showing the children of the late 𝐃𝐚𝐫𝐤, who was 43 years old when he was gunned down on the day in question, on the 1st of August 2018, by the military on the streets of Harare. I will bring in Mambo Shashi to talk about that later, after he talks about his own experiences, about the survivors of the surviving dependents of these victims of the August 1, 2018 shootings. If we can show the video of the children of the late 𝐃𝐚𝐫𝐤. Yeah, so there we go. Those were the children of the late 𝐃𝐚𝐫𝐤, who is one of the victims, one of the 6 who were gunned down by the military on the streets of Harare on the 1st of August 2018. I just want to talk, because I will come later on into the Motlanthe inquiry, the commission that recommended that immediately the children and the survivors, the dependents of those people who had been gunned down by the soldiers on the streets of Harare on the 1st of August 2018 must be catered for, must be looked after. Their school fees, their needs must be catered for by the government, which we understand up to now has not been done. And this is 4 years later, and none of those recommendations by the Motlanthe Commission have been done, or have seen the light of day. Comrade Bondo, if you can hear me, can you just let me know? But if not, we are joined by DJ Vaneldo, our very own Change Radio champion, international, I must add, He is making airwaves all over the globe. And welcome, DJ Vaneldo. I understand you were there on the streets of Harare on the 1st of August 2018. Could you take us through what happened when from your experiences?
Yeah, Muri Zimbabwe. How are you,
But
everybody?
not
Yeah,
from
hello, my MP. How are you? Yeah, I can tell you that that day we were in a jovial mode. Taifara zvokuti taiti tahwina, but tanga tine problem yanga itika nekuti results angabuda that night anga asingatifadzi, because Zeki was showing kunatsoratidza kuti hapana kwatiri kuenda, and they were showing kuti vari kuriga ma-elections. So we went there tichida kuconfronta, but as well as taida kucelebrate. That was our only way to celebrate. But then police yakabva yabuda mutown. The first kokauya then papa kuimbwa tati harvest house pachiimbwa song inonzi mazano mastupid like so. Then ndopakatanga kuya mapuma masoldiers yekutanga yakamira pa okay pepe yakatarisa kuharvest house. Yechitu yakabva yamboenda payakadzoka it was now chaos. Vakurova vanhu nanga ine vatatanga kutoona zvimotikari zvezvi zvinoshandiswa muhondo zvezvi zvinenge zvine macheni zvezvi, vanhu vakutanga kutopfurwa paya vanhu vakutanga kutorohwa paharvest paya. Saka the only way yawaifana kuita, you have to survive on your own, papasina munhu aibatsira mumwe munhu. And how I survived this experience, ndakatanga kutiza ndichienda kuita kunge ndikuenda kustate house kwekwe. Saka kune ka save station kari kumashure kwe that street. Ndinetsika nemastreets angu emutown, but takatotarisana nekuenda high courts. Ndo pandakamira ipapo, ndadedzwa nemumwe munhu anga atori save station, nganzi uya kuno, mandapinda musave station memo. So I could see what was happening. Vanhu ndopa vairohwa kurohwa, masoja anga akapfeka zvinhu vaine maneti anga akaisa mafesi avo anga akaiswa zvimaneti, masoja mahombe kwete atinoona everyday. Ayo anga ari masoja ari heavily armed. Ndopakabva pauya mumwe murume aida fuel, but motikari yake yanga yakanyorwa, yanga ine stika reUNICEF. Ndopakanzi tikukumbira kuti mutibatsirewo mukomana aite angokwanisa kubuda mutown, at least isusu togona kutry kumeka sure kuti tabuda mutown. Banditi ndapinda ndine badge, hapana problem. Ndopandakapinda, but tafamba tasvika pamarket square, cause taifamba tichibva kune road yekubva kuna Robert Mugabe, cause taingofamba zvekutongomeka sure kuti munhu hapana kubuda mutown. Ndopatakaona masoja anga akatowandisa, aisada vanhu, aisada motikari dzaikuro, zvakanzi apa ndopandapererawo wangu, abva andiburitsira pamarket square. Saka ndaburuka pamarket square, zvimategas and everything was now confusing. Vanhu vaitiza from all walks of life. Ndakabva ndatiza ndichienda nekudowntown kuita kunge ndikubuda kuenda kuMbare. Saka nochisvika kuside iroro pane inenge flyover, so ukapinda neko kune inonzi Jumbo House. Saka ukapinda unobva watopinda kurailway, kundo kune railway ikoko, kune railway yaunotanga kufamba nayo. Saka tatanga kutiza ane railway iyoyo. Ndakaramba ndiri straight kusvika tinosvika kuNational Foods, patine takutena tatarisa kuenda kuZBC. Takatarisa kwekweyo takatoona kuti chimoto chakatowandawo futi ikoko. Saka the only way yanga iri ngoramba uchiteedza njanji, mandarama ndichiteedza njanji kusvika ndazosvika takunopinda njanji yacho inenge yakunosvika kuenda kuKambuzuma, side reKambuzuma rere. Ndokandakazobudikira ikoko nevamwe wandibatsirawo nemotikari yanga inayo, vatadzoka kuya kuRothmans kuno. Ndopandakazokwira lift kukwira kuya kuKumba. And I can tell you kuti ndakaspenda almost 3 to 4 days makumbo angu achirwadza, because munhu wese akaita experience yandikutaura who was there musi wa1 August anokuudza kuti kwairwadza, vanhu vakamhanya. And that was horrible. And experience life mangu. Even now, even when I speak about politics, ndonatsokuudza kuti dai Mwari aida kuti ndife dai ndakafa. kwete kuti ndichaurayiwa nezvimwe zvichauya hazvo. That's why uchiona vamwe ndichitsungirira kuti whatever comes, we will still stand and make sure that change comes to Zimbabwe. There are some people who died vanga vasingatozivi kuti zviri kuitika. And I can still remember there was this rasta akazopfurwa kuZANU-PF headquarters. That guy was so brave. He was so brave, that guy. Pandakazozwa kuti ndiafa, my heart was so pained. So that was my experience musawa one. And ana comrade Vondo vanogona kutokudzai munhu wese mugrupu reKwaIFood West vaingovhunza kuti Kovanodo ari kupi. They thought kuti ndaita se ndashaikawo panguva iyo, but I thank God I was alive and I'm still alive. Thank you so much.
Wow, indeed, we're really thankful, and thank you so much for that detailed account of what happened to you, DJ Vanalda, on the 1st of August. But I'm setting my mind up team. I know, I just want to give you kudos because and for you, it must have been times 20 the effort you teaser no pain when you teaser live ammunition. I just want to ask you, or the actual shootings,
yeah, I can recall one remote car. There was this guy akazoonekwa iye na president. That guy angapfeka shoti so akapfurwa zvokuti zvinhu zvake zvemukati zvanga zvakabuda panze. And that guy akachema zvokuti vanhu vakawanda vakamuona mukomana iye. And there was also ndikoti maroads anoti tiinetse zvangu. There is also these two ladies, one anga atofa but one anga pfurwa ruoko nechepa side up. Ndo vanhu vandakaonawo ivavo nevamwe vangu vangori scattered around, of which I was surprised kuti ndizoti kune vanhu 6 vafa. Was that day I don't think kuti kwakafa vanhu 6 because the shooting was too much. I don't know kuti zvii zvakazongoitika. Maybe they used all their powers to make sure kuti vanhu avabude pachena kuti vanhu vafa vangani. But I believe that kuna vanhu vakafa vakati wande.
Yeah, there are a lot of reports that come in as well that say the number was definitely more than 6 from Mukutaura. But
yeah.
Thank you so much.
And also I don't know kuti the spirit on that day, my taxi drivers, it was awesome, especially my taxi driver anotakura parerinyatwa. I want to thank them. They helped a lot, those guys. From the first thing, vaibatsira vanhu vava, they helped so much. Ndakazonzwa nemareports vanga vasarawo paground vanga vari all over vaingobatsira for the sake yekubatsira vanhu. I say thank you so much.
Indeed, we thank all those champions for that heroic display on that day. Honorable 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤, I don't know if we can come back to you. Kuti mongoita pick up from pamanga mawe pamama svika pane vanhu vanga vakakuvara. Kana mukakwanisa kuunmute mic yenyu, Honorable 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤, kuti Zimbabwe ikunzwei, and not just Zimbabwe but worldwide, because this is going all over the world. Kana mukakwanisa kuunmute, then we can hear your account. Pama muchitaura kuti manga masangana mashedzo kuti muadrese vanhu, and then ndovapatanga nyaka ndovamatozotanga kuona kuti panapa patoipa makuchizobatsira vanhu vanga vakuvara vanga vapfurwa nemasoja muHarare. Kana vasi kutinzwa, I don't know, Mambo Shoshe, tinokuchingamidzai, tinokutendai nekuva nesu panguva ino. Ndozova kuti manga muchifamba muri mese naHonorable 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤. Can I ask you just to give us an account of what happened on the 1st of August 2018 when you were on the streets of Harare, when the shootings began? Welcome. Muripa mute, Mambo Shoshe.
Oh my God. It's called old age. You guys.
No.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sophia, and everyone here. Let me say hello to the Honorable Mukanya Bondo 𝐶𝐚𝐫𝐤. We appreciate you, everything that you are doing on the ground Yes, on August 1, I was in Harare. I'd gone for elections. I always go for elections. I never miss any election. And on that day, I was supposed to meet with Honorable 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤 at Harvest House. It was then, it was still our headquarters, 𝐒𝐴𝐥𝐸 House. So I actually walked from the hotel where I was staying, and I went to to our headquarters. Then I saw, people outside, they were just, in our regalia, dancing and singing. I could not manage to get in and see Honorable 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤 as they were locked in meetings. I then decided to leave. I had a friend of mine. I wish I had called him to be part of this program. We had come from Botswana also to come and vote Anton Hofer. So he was driving. So I called him and said, I'm just behind 𝐒𝐴𝐥𝐸 house. And then I walked over there. I saw him. And, I think it had been almost 10 years before we met, because we were together in Botswana. And then we were talking and said, no, I wanted to see some leaders there, but I couldn't get in because people are in meetings. There was something going on. You could tell that there was something going on. You remember that was the day Honorable 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤 and Vice President Tendai Biti, if I'm not mistaken, ended up having the infamous press conference that, resulted in Honorable Biti going to Zambia, and Honorable 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤, I don't know if he had spoken about that part. I think he will give us that story himself. But I've put that story in a book. There's a human rights book that I contributed a chapter. And that chapter that I contributed in that book, I'll post it here. Those who want to read can read. I was narrating what happened on August 1. So to cut a long story short, because it's actually a long story, to that program, Yega, can do to that stadium, the address National Sports Stadium.
And what that day is coming.
Yes. So I got the track, my friend's car, and we're now supposed to, we said, no, let's go and find something to eat. And then we're supposed to meet with some journalists and some comrades at 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐴 bar and restaurant, somewhere near 𝐾𝐚𝐫𝐤, vanoziva Harare kuseri kweshowground kuyakuya ndokune chibhawa chaMudharamdzuri asati atengesa. So takabva ipapo, then we said we are going there. And then as we were driving along Samora Machel Avenue, and then we turned into Rotten Row. You see, I still know Harare that well. We turned into Rotten Row so that we could go to Mudharamdzuri's place. And just as we were turning there, some people came. Of course, both of us, myself and Anton, were wearing red cap and shirts. Just the moment those guys came, we had gunshots, and then my friend had to turn around very quickly, and then we left Rotten Row and turned left into Samora Machel Avenue, driving towards the showground. And then we used the other side. We turned before showground. We turned left so that we could still get to where we wanted to go. But things just changed immediately. Then we had gunshots and there was commotion everywhere. Cars were just driving, and and then we went into the place 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐴, and we saw everyone was, most of the guys were drinking there and were eating there, but we couldn't even find time to eat, because we could tell that there was something that was now going on, in town. And before we know it, after about 30-40 minutes, the soldiers came, the police, and they started throwing everything out, beating everyone who was there, were dispersed. And were to drive now, as quickly as possible out of that place, drove towards Warren Park because they didn't want anyone to be getting in town. I was supposed to be going back to my hotel, but the police and the soldiers were all over in all the roads that were leading into town. So you could not drive into town. So we drove towards Belvedere, and then we ended up in Warren Park. We tried to find something to eat there. But 𝐾𝐚𝐫𝐤, as much as you see him on social media, but so we did buy something in Warren Park, those who know Warren Park. I grew up in Warren Park, so I know Warren Park very well. So there's a place, new place, so we went there and we bought food. I didn't eat. We bought drinks. I didn't even drink anything, now because I was now thinking, am I going to come out of this country alive? So before we finished eating there, the police came again and the soldiers, and they, threw the pots and everything that the women were, those ladies that cook, had prepared, and everyone home, everyone go home, everyone go home. Masoja iro vanhu ipapo. Atina hedu kurohwa pinda mumota nekukurumidza. And then we drove away, through, I think we went, I don't know this location, new location in after Warren Park. Then we connected into Meborin, and then I was still thinking that I could still get to town and get my stuff out of the hotel and then go somewhere, but I couldn't get there. So I ended up getting an Airbnb somewhere in Avondale. That's where I spent the night, and it was only in the morning that I realized that people had actually been killed, and it was so bad and so sad. I just could not believe that that is what had happened. But I heard all the gunshots, and the first gunshots that were done just after at the headquarters, ZANU-PF headquarters. No, not ZANU-PF headquarters. It was the Sheraton, Harare International Conference Center, because that was where the results were being counted and everything. That was like the command center for all the elections. I had actually gotten there earlier and met 𝐃𝐚𝐫𝐤 and 𝐂𝐥𝐸, because 𝐂𝐥𝐸 was responsible for our election team. So I actually met him there earlier on before all this happened. So this is what happened, and then after that, I could put in Bondo's story, but that's a story for another day. But I think to everyone who is listening, this is something that we should never forget. And I want to thank Change Radio for talking about this, because we have people that lost their lives. They were, somebody's children. Some of them were somebody's husbands. They are relatives. There are people right now, that are still talking about this day. I know most of us have forgotten or can easily forget about August 1, but we have relatives, we have friends, we have siblings, we have children that lost their parents on that fateful day. And we need to continue.
I want to ask you, I know you're going to the next question that I wanted to ask you specifically about the Motlanthe Commission, the findings. And before they even went on to it, they were talking about that the dependents, the children of the victims of the deceased who were gunned down on the 1st of August 2018 need to be taken care of. But I just want to ask Baba Ruru, I think he's having a problem going in and out, just to give his account in 2 minutes of what happened on the day, Baba Ruru Owe, just to tell us what happened to you on the day, before I come back to Chief Soshe to tell us about what he thinks about the Motlanthe Commission and the lack of compassion and care for those dependents that were left by those six victims that we know of, but we know there are more than that. But just to come back to that, Baba Lulu, welcome to the show. If you can just tell us in 2 minutes, I think we're running a little bit out of time. What happened to you on 1 August 2018? What you saw?
Okay, how are you, my sister?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm getting me some. I'm fine as well. I just want to thank my brother, the chief, for narrating the whole incident of what happened during that is moment of madness when our guys of army, which we think they are the most respected security force in Zimbabwe, actually opened the fire, live blaze for just an ordinary citizens who were just arguing about the election. I feel like this is not the which we are living, because if you see what happened with the Motlanthe commission, that wasn't a commission. They didn't commission anything. That was just that was biased, a gang of crooks. Can you imagine an elder like that man? Who do you call him?
𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤, is it?
No, yes.
𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤 Motlanthe.
Who was leading correcting? Who was leading the team? Did he didn't even do anything. It was just they came just collect some gold. I think if we got the ability to search them, I think they even went out with more than 60 kgs of gold from Zimbabwe.
Okay, but what I think the listeners would want to know from you is what happened to you on the day. Were you on the streets of Harare on the day of the shootings?
Oh, okay. On that day, I wasn't on the street of Harare. I was actually out of town, but I was in Greendale. So if you know very much the distance from Greendale to city center, it's something like 5 km, if I'm not mistaken. Every sound of the gunshots were in my ears. I heard everything, and then from there I had to go online and watch what was happening. It was a whole zone, I can tell you. It wasn't that Harare which you know. So if I think about that day, in fact, I spent something like a month before I even put my body in the city center. Because we didn't expect something like that to happen. So that's what I know about the day. But what I can tell you, it was a moment of madness from those old guys who are on the top, who lead our army.
Yeah, a moment of madness. More than that, it was a war against the citizens of the country.
Yeah.
Right. Chief, if I can come back to you, Mambo Shoshe, about that Motlanthe commission and the children. I don't know if our admin in the background has that video of the children of one of this the victims who passed away. Those children were promised that their school fees would be paid, their needs would be taken care of, and this is all in the report, in the Motlanthe Commission report, but that has not been implemented today, and it's 4 years since that has happened, and we wonder how those children are surviving day to day. If I can just take a moment while the admin is looking for that video, just to list the 6 people that said they were shot by the military on that day, and just to pay our tribute to them on this particular day where they lost their lives, and just to also remind the families that we are commiserating with them. We honor them, and we will remember them in the new Zimbabwe, and that they did not lose their lives in vain. We have Sylvia Maposa, who was 53 years old at that time. We have Ishmael Kumire, who was 43. We have Gavin Dean Charles, who was 45. James Chikandira, who was 21 years old. Brian Juwawo, who was 26. And Challenge Tauro, who was only 20 years old. These are the people that we are given officially that they lost their lives on the 1st of August 2018, but we know there were more. Admin, I don't know, is the video of Ishmael Kumire's children? Is it? Very painful indeed. Young children lost their father, lost their provider, because we have bloodthirsty people who will do anything to remain grasping on power, including having no hearts. They do not feel anything for those children who are crying, mourning for their father, to even have a little bit of remorse to say, okay, maybe let's find something to offer them assistance with their school fees, their daily living. Those children, along with the relatives and dependents of the other people who were massacred on that day, have been forgotten. Mambo Sote, what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's said, watching that video again, I almost cried when I watched the president's film, The President, because that August 1 moment is also featured in President Chamisa's documentary. And just to relive those moments, it's so sad. You know, these are people that were running away, that were fleeing. They were not threatening the police. They were not threatening the soldiers. They are not capable, or were not capable of threatening any force whatsoever. Even if the police were not armed, or the soldiers were not armed, they would still not have done any harm to them. And contrary to what ZANU-PF is spreading to the world, that these people were threatening and they could have attacked the police or the soldiers. These people were unarmed. They didn't have anything threatening. If you look at the video again, and the people that were shot at, the people were fleeing. They were running away. Nobody was coming towards the police or the army to an extent that you might think that they were going to attack the soldiers or the police. So what happened on August 1 was just uncalled for, and should never have happened. It's something that we never saw even during Robert Mugabe, whom we used to call, the devil. So we only saw something like this during Mnangagwa's term. I don't know what we can call Mnangagwa if Robert Mugabe was a devil, and he never did what Emmerson Mnangagwa did, that people are protesting, a peaceful protest, and he opens fire on them without any due warning. All the bullets that were fired towards people. You can see from that rifleman, who was on that, whatever, 45 degree, whatever they called it. The man was just firing, and indiscriminately, and that's why all those people ended up being killed. And then fast forward after that, Emmerson Mnangagwa to put together a very shameful hearing, that just was meant to cover up for the murders, for what he had done. It was meant to do social engineering to Emmerson Mnangagwa's image, and he had to call the whole world and put together that Motlanthe commission, brought in a number of well-known persons, as he was advised by his handlers in the United Kingdom and in America. As you know, Emmerson Mnangagwa, he has a public relations team that is based in America. Actually, companies like Ballard Investments based in the United States, and they have another one in the United Kingdom. In fact, here in America, they have two PR companies that look after his image and come up with all these schemes. So this is what happened. Contrary to what they say that President Chamisa is advised by white people, it is actually ZANU-PF, it is actually Emmerson Mnangagwa who is managed by the Americans, who is managed by the British. This is true. This is a fact. This is what happens. He's paying them over $1 million to do things like that. So who is more closer to the white people or to the Americans or the British, President Chamisa or Emmerson Mnangagwa? So this is what happened. They set up that Motlanthe Commission. That was just a facade, because it was never meant to do anything or uncover anything. People came, they testified. President Chamisa testified. You saw the testimony. It was a testimony that could have convicted anyone. The Makomborero, Ruzivishe, I think we all remember the testimony that he gave, a chronicle of events that he gave in that very fearlessly. Those people were being threatened, by the way. If you talk to Makomborero, he will tell you that they were being threatened so that they could not testify, or they could not say everything that they needed to say during the process. But they defied all that. They just said things as they were. So if that commission was genuine, if it was meant to do its work and do what it was supposed to do and get some people convicted, today we should be having soldiers in jail. We should be having soldiers that were arraigned before the courts. But that moment has never arrived. That moment is never going to arrive, because it was just a facade. It was never meant to do anything. Why is it that someone who killed a person in cold blood, is still out there? That soldier lives in Kwadana, but he is not in jail today. Yes, he took a command. Who gave the command? Who gave the command to open fire on a peaceful demonstration, harmless people that were not armed? Someone gave the order. We know our soldiers, they are a very disciplined force. They are a very disciplined force. There are only a few bad apples among them. And I know they would not have done that without a command. Someone gave the command. It must have come, obviously, from the commander-in-chief. Who is the commander-in-chief? Emmerson Mnangagwa. So someone, if it was not that soldier, or it should be someone up there who should be, taking responsibility for what happened on August 1. But up to today, nobody knows what happened with that report. The recommendations of the Motlanthe Commission have never been made public. We have asked and asked and asked. People have demanded to get to the bottom, or to get the reports and the findings of the Motlanthe Commission, but they have never been made public. And the recommendations were never implemented. Not even one recommendation was implemented. So why did we waste millions of dollars? That commission was costly. It costed Zimbabwean taxpayers millions of dollars, but it achieved nothing. Today, we have families from 6 members, 6 Zimbabweans, 6 citizens that were killed, that were murdered. They don't have any closure. They were not given anything. They were not given any compensation. I know questions will be asked, what have we done as citizens? Because surely, as citizens, we should be able to do something about situations like that. I know our department, welfare department, led by Maureen Kalemaunga, has reached out to the families. They have provided the little that they could. They've done the best that they can under our dire circumstances. We are a party with no money, but we have reached out. We have done the best that we can. But the government that is collecting taxes from people, He has not done anything to them. It has not compensated anyone. And as I round up, I know you want me to round up. As I round up, I just want to say to Zimbabweans listening, the only way we can compensate those six and those families is to win Zimbabwe for change, is for us to go and register to vote and go en masse in 2023 and vote this government out and make sure that the August 1 victims are compensated. I know a government, a people's government led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa would do justice to these families. It will compensate them. It's not enough, but I'm telling you, a new government led by President Chamisa will ensure that these families are taken care of. If you look at the ages of those people that were killed, it shows you that these were breadwinners. What is happening to their children right now as we are speaking? So we continue to demand justice for the August victims. And please, especially those in Harare, Bulawayo, in all the major cities, as you saw from the census publication, we now have more people in urban areas than in rural areas, which is actually an advantage to all of us because we are strong in urban areas. But I want to believe we are also much stronger in rural areas. That is just a myth that ZANU-PF has strongholds in the rural areas. But this gives us an advantage to go and register to vote. Everyone who is in Harare, let's go and register to vote. You know, we have about 1.5 million Zimbabweans in Harare. If just 3/4 of them can vote for President Chamisa, that means we have 1 million votes just in Harare only. And then in Bulawayo, we have over 900,000 or at least 1 million eligible voters. Even though the census, can you believe it, is saying there are only 600,000 people in Bulawayo. That's just daylight robbery. We're going to start asking questions about that. They need to explain about what they did with the census in Matabeleland. But we're just saying, if all those people go and vote, we can literally win this election in urban areas. But in rural areas, we continue again to say, please, let's go and register to vote so that we can get justice for all the victims, not only for those of in August, but for all the victims that have been taken. Remember, we've lost over 3,000 people due to political violence in Zimbabwe, including our mother, Susan Morgan Tsvangirai, who was eliminated, who was killed in an accident arranged by ZANU-PF when they were trying to kill Morgan Tsvangirai. You know, for the sake of all these people, Tonderai Ndira and many others that have been killed, let's go and vote and ensure that there is justice for all the victims. And I know President Chamisa will ensure that all these families are compensated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief, for that detailed account of what happened on the 1st of August, that happened when you were there, to your motivation for the Zimbabwean public to go and register to vote and make a difference. And actually, you know, put some sanity and just to remember those victims of these August 1 killings, as well as many others who have lost their lives. Like you rightly point out that when Mnangagwa came in and stole power in Zimbabwe, we went from the frying pan into the fire. This is where we are. So Zimbabweans, there you have it. Go and register to vote, defend the vote, and let us all usher in the new great Zimbabwe, where we can all live in dignity. And you know, we just need to do this. We need to do this as Zimbabweans, for ourselves, for Zimbabweans. Well, there we have it. Thank you so much for joining us. It's unfortunate we couldn't talk to Honorable 𝐃𝐚𝐫𝐤 in detail about what happened, but I promise that we will catch him and we'll manage to bring him back. I know there are network issues and electricity issues in Harare, but we will manage to get hold of him and to hear his story, because we want to hear from what Mambo Shoshe says. That's a story for another day, and it's something we look forward to. But for today, we end here. From myself, Sophia Tekwani, Mambo Shoshe, DJ Vaneldo, Baba Ruru Cooksman, and Honorable Chidziwa who joined us. We want to thank you and just to wish you pleasant listening and viewing here on Change Radio. We will see you next time. We
Thank you.
go out, I think, with the song, just asking the regional bodies, SADC, the AU, what you are doing and why it's so silent. It's a deafening silence from these regional bodies about what's happening in Zimbabwe. We want to hear you, we want you to help us in our fight for this new great Zimbabwe. Thank you so much. A very good night. But before, 𝐃𝐚𝐫𝐤 is saying, let's register to vote. Hashtag go and vote and defend the vote. Indeed, Jack, thank you so much for that very important message. Thank you so much. It's a very good night from all of us.
Thank you.